Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over the curriculum for my second grader for this upcoming school year, and I'm excited to get into it with you and to talk about it a little bit. And if you are new to my channel, I created this channel as a homeschooling resource to talk to you about curriculum that we like to use, some different unboxings and some organizational ideas. So if you're interested in those things, please subscribe below and let's get into this curriculum. Like I made in a previous video or mentioned in a previous video about the workbox system, I'll try to link it up here for you to see. That is what we're using. And so I'll show you the stuff that would be in the different drawers in at my son's desk, but then I'll also go over a few extra things that we're gonna do more as group work. And so in his top drawers, he'll have some of his just pencils, erasers, scissors. It's kind of like his junk drawer is what it ends up being, and we have to clean it out a lot. But so he has this tray that I've mentioned before that we get from Amazon, and I'll link that in my blog post. So everything you see here, I'll try to link into my blog post. But then he'll also have his daily learning notebook, which this is from Confessions of a Homeschooler. And I still have kind of mixed feelings about doing this every day. Sometimes my kids just throw fits about it and don't want to do it. But I do like the fact that it has calendars in here. So I'm just gonna show you, this is from last year. I need to print new ones from this year. So it's hard to see, but it says August at the top, and they get to fill in all the dates and then record like the weather and stuff down here. So I really like this aspect of it because it gets them more familiar with the months and how to fill in a calendar and just kind of how to keep track of those things. So this is one part of it that I'm like, okay, maybe we'll keep doing it this year and we'll see how we feel about it next year. So that's the first thing that's in the drawer because that's one of the first things they do in the morning. And then the next thing that they have in the drawer is going to be the 1 Year Daily Devotional book. And this is the first time I've used this particular book. We were talking about the Book of Mormon at the first part of the year, and now we're gonna be talking about the Bible the rest of the school, like in the fall, we're gonna be talking about the Bible, specifically the second half of the New Testament. And so I got these because they are Christian based in the Bible, and they just give little things every single day. So they, like this one's Wednesday and Thursday, but just quick little things to kind of get you in the scriptures in the morning, get you used to reading your scriptures every day because that's important to our family. So that's why I have this. And then something else that kind of goes along with that scripture study is a reason for handwriting, which is also Christian based. And so it's sort of an extra handwriting curriculum because it is practicing handwriting, as you will see right here. But it is also giving you a scripture down here at the bottom. So I like it just because they get this extra practice with writing in general, just extra handwriting practice, but also they're practicing writing scriptures, and it goes through like day 1, day 2, day 3, and it builds up to writing the whole scripture. So it gives you some different words that are included in the scripture to practice writing, and then it'll have you actually write the whole scripture. So again, just something to be in the scriptures every day. And we do study scriptures together as a group. So I'll just go over that right now because it's one of the first things we do in the morning. So in this fall, we're gonna be using, mostly this is a New Testament stories manual, and I'll again put a link to this below. So it just is simplified stories that are found in the New Testament with pictures. And so we like to use that. And then this is also a book that I like to use. They have one for the Book of Mormon and also one for the Bible. So it's Bible-ites, and it just goes through some of the most prominent people in the Bible and the Book of Mormon, gives you some different, like more in-depth stories about them, not necessarily stories, but I don't know what the word is. If I think of it, I'll let you know, but they just explain things a little bit clearer too in here. And then they always give like a little activity you could do together with your kids. And so I really like this book. We used the Book of Mormon one last year, and I really enjoyed using it, and it gave me some great ideas. So those are the things that we use for our group scripture study, and that's in my kids' first drawer that they'll be doing first thing in the morning with scriptures. So the next drawer is math, and I use the Moffat Girls Math Made Fun. And it does require a little bit of prep work because she has lots of centers, but that's one of the reasons why I chose it, because it's very, very interactive. So I showed this in my tour of my homeschool closet video, but I have all these bins at the very top of my closet, and then the ones I'm using I set down lower so I can reach it. So this is the first one he'll be going through. It's just kind of a review of some numbers and then continuing on to 1,000. So that's unit 1. And she also makes lesson plans for everything. And so I printed this out. This is all on like teacherspayteachers.com. So TPDT, I don't know how to spell, but I'll link it below so you don't have to listen to me and try to figure it out. But so you just download it and then you can print what you want. If you don't want to print everything, you don't have to, whatever. So this has all the lesson plans in it. So, and then all the units are listed down the side. So I just bought these little tabs. And then, so the first thing he would do would be Unit 1, Lesson 1. And it goes through the purpose of the lesson, some ways to catch attention, because this is not just for homeschoolers, but can be used in elementary classrooms, like at a public school. And so, and she has the practice down here, and it tells you what center to use, and then activity pages or practice pages, which are found in this other notebook that's in his drawer. So it will tell you what activity pages to go to. And I usually just mark them for him, and he can go in and he can do it. He might need help, he might not. It just kind of depends on what it is. So I have one of these for each of the units. And then, like I said, I really love that she makes lesson plans for all of them. And a lot of her curriculum, she has math and reading and grammar, all sorts of fun things. And I really like it. It's very thorough. And like she's been adding lesson plans to everything. And if you get them on the sales, they're pretty cheap. And there's ones that come in bundles, and you can buy them separately or you can buy them together in a bundle, which obviously is more expensive, but cheaper if you want all of the units. So again, I'll link all of her information and her webpage and stuff down below so you can look at it. And this is the center. I pulled one out so you could see it. So this would be the center he would be doing for that first unit. And he just pull it out, and this one's looking at odd and even numbers, which he sort of started talking about last year, but he'd just be reviewing it. So that's what we're doing for math. I know people also like Matthew C, and I think we will do that next year for him, but I just really liked having these very interactive centers that they've been able to do through, you know, preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, that helps them make math more fun. And so Matthew C is another one to check out that I know people really like. I just don't know very much about it. So for reading, in the next drawer, we're gonna be doing all about reading. And this is level 3. So, and the cool thing about these ones is they're in color. So I'll show you the reading books. Sorry, my camera keeps shaking every time I put books down. But, so this is all in color, which the previous ones, they just recently changed this because our previous 2 levels are not in color, they're black and white. So I thought this was even more fun. It made them all colorful. And last year he made it through 2 levels in 1 year. So it just kind of depends on the reading speed of your child, how fast they go through them. Because with All About Reading, it has activities in here too. So you have this book, which is like the teacher's manual, and I keep these all in the drawer. It's just easier for me to have them all there. And then it has this book, which is the activity book. So it has, not for every single lesson, but for most of them, they'll have different things they can cut out. They can practice words. And this is really good about teaching the rules of why you say words a certain way. It gives you different grammar. So I'm learning a lot of things that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't realize maybe I learned that at one point. So this is helping me too, to learn why words and sounds are the way they are. But, so there's enough lessons to drag it out for the whole year. If your student is just kind of struggling or whatever, then you might be able to do that. But we made it through, I think there is 50 or so lessons, but we made it through them like in half of the year. So it just kind of depends on your student how quickly you go through them. So that's the only kind of down point side to this one, is if they go through it quickly, it's expensive for the year to have to buy the next level. But I still think it's worth it. I know other people also like the Abeka readers. I haven't actually had those ones, but they, I think, last a little bit longer than these ones. But then this All About Reading has a lot more activities you can do with it. So I guess it just depends what you're looking for and what your child, whatever, struggling with. And so you can decide what you need with that. So that is what we're doing for reading. And then for phonics, these are both from Abeka. And I'm not exactly sure. I feel like they combine these into one. So I think this is technically both the phonics and the language. And they used to have just a language one and then letters and sounds. And so now I think this is technically supposed to be all of it because it's thicker. So I have one, and another one. So I have two that's about the same size. I just didn't have any spines big enough to bind it into one huge one. So I separated them into two. So I guess we'll see. We're gonna try to use both, but if they overlap a ton, then we'll just stick to this one. But I used these last year for level 1 instead of 2, and I'm using them for my daughter this year as well. And I liked them. It was very easy. You can get them bound like this, and it's the same price. They can come bound like this, or you can get them where they're unbound, and you could go have them bound or bind them yourself. So then you could like flip the pages and turn them. I know some people get them this way, and then you just tear out the next worksheet. So I guess whatever it is you want to do. And then we're also doing writing, and this is from Abeka as well. I have a lot of stuff that's from Abeka, which is Christian based, and so you do get some scriptures and just teachings about Christ or God in them occasionally. It's not every single lesson, but occasionally you'll get those types of things or scriptures in them. But last year, my kids were a little bit struggling with handwriting, and especially my daughter wasn't sure what letters looked like. And I just felt like I needed a better gauge of how they were doing with writing. So I just got these books, and they usually just do one a day. So it just has, this one is writing different words on here, but then some of the other ones have trace the letters and stuff, and it's very basic. So I liked it because they could write it, and then I could look at it later on in the day and see, oh, okay, we're struggling here, or we need to work on this, or she's writing these letters backwards, or he's doing this, or whatever. So it was just kind of my gauge. And like I said, we just started at like the middle of last year because I just felt like I needed to be able to keep track of how their handwriting was going and what we needed to focus on more. So it's up to you if you want to do more handwriting. And I haven't ever done vocab before. Confessions of a Homeschooler recommended this. She didn't know if it was her favorite or not, and I don't know either because we haven't used it yet. But we're gonna try it this year. I know they have little stories, and they listen to them, and then they go over the vocab and have questions throughout the whole week and stuff. But you can have them listen on like an iPad or whatever. They can just listen to the story, so you don't have to read it to them, or they don't have to read it themselves. So it also has this listening aspect and then identifying the vocab. So we're gonna try that out. I don't know how it'll go. We'll see, I guess, next year if we decide to keep doing vocab, but that's what we have so far. And then in the very bottom drawer, we have spelling, and we've been doing spelling you see. So this is what the worksheets look like from it. And then this is the little teacher's manual. So our worksheets are not in a booklet because I don't want to have to buy the booklets every year. They're kind of expensive. It's cheaper for me to rip them all out and then make copies of them. So that's what I do. I just make copies so that we have this copy here. And all about, well, not all about spelling, excuse me, that's something different. But spelling you see goes through and it gives you, so this is nursery rhymes. This is level B, as you can see in this book. We're on level B. We're almost done with it, so I figured we'd just start the school year finishing it. So this one's been, excuse me, talking about nursery rhymes, and they have different ones that talk a little bit more about American history and different topics, so that this one, like I said, we'll go through the nursery rhymes. Some of them will give you different stories or history. And so you're learning about different topics while also learning how to spell the words in them. So it's really cool. So they'll start out the week, this is day 1. They'll get a new nursery rhyme. It usually has them mark something in it. So this one wants them to do consonant chunks and silent letters. So they're picking those out in this words, and it has what the consonant chunks are down here. And then it will have them start to write it. So at the beginning of the week, sorry, I'm like all over the place today. Woo! At the beginning of the week, it gives you all the words up here and you write it. But by the end of the week, I am dictating it to him. So the last day of the week, it just says to give 10 minutes. Don't do more than that usually, unless your kid loves it, then I guess do more. But if they can't finish it in 10 minutes, that's fine, but just do 10 minutes because a lot of kids will just get burned out or frustrated if you do longer. And so you just dictate it to them and they write it. And they've been practicing it all week. So sometimes my son does better than other times. It just kind of depends. And some of the nursery rhymes had harder words than others, or they didn't repeat words as much. So some weeks he was able to finish it in the 10 minutes and other times not. So you don't push it, and you're not supposed to get upset with them or push them when they make mistakes and they need help. Like, just work with them and work through it together. So that was something I really like. Something else that I put in the bottom drawer, it's a group work thing. It's the road trip to the US, which I have mentioned before. So this is the student binder, and then this is the teacher's binder. So this is something from Confessions of a Homeschooler, and you just purchase it on our website and you download it. So you can print it out if you want, or you don't have to. There are a lot of activities, so I'd recommend printing the student one, but you don't necessarily have to print the teacher one. But so in the teacher one, it has a state. It lists the states, and she has divided them by regions. So last year, we started this like halfway through the year, so we got through the Northeast. So from like Pennsylvania up through the New England states, basically. So this fall, we're gonna start in the Southeast. So we'll be starting with Alabama, and she usually has 2 lessons per state. And we only usually do geography like twice a week, if we can do that. Sometimes life gets too busy to do even that. And so we're only going through about a state a week. And then she also has reviews after every 2 states you do. She has a review you can do for those states. And so this is a curriculum that's about 2 years. Like, it takes about 2 years to get through all of the states and reviews and activities and stuff in here. And I think it's really well done. I think it's worth it and a lot of fun. And so in their student book, you can print this, it's a little travel log. And then as you go to the different states, she has all of these you can print out, and you can put like a passport. Oh, we visited this state and we visited this state. So they have some of those New England states in there. And then it also has just coloring pages you can do. It has postcards that you can make for each state, and if you wanted to send them to somebody, you could. So I feel like it's a really great curriculum. It has a lot of interactive things, and we learn a lot. And it's very easy to make it harder or make it easier depending on the age of your child. I think it's supposed to be up till about 5th or 6th grade. And she also has one that's for the world. So you can do that one if you've already done the United States, or you don't want to do the United States right now, you can do the world. So that's something that we do as a group, but their individual binders stay in their drawer. So that's all the stuff that would be in their drawers, and they just work through that in the morning. If they have questions, they ask, I kind of work through things with them, and then if I'm busy with someone else, they can just skip, and he can go on to the next drawer and work on that until I can help him. So a few other things that are in there that we will be focusing on is art. We usually do some sort of craft. So I'm gonna use this book. I haven't ever had a formal like art book that we've used, but Confessions of a Homeschooler also recommended this. Obviously you can tell Moffat Girl is Confessions of a Homeschooler. That's where I get all my stuff. But so I thought we'd try this out and see how it goes. So I don't know, I'll let you know because I'm not really sure how it's gonna go. but it's just very basic and I just got it off of Amazon. So something else that I like too is I found these. My son that's going into second grade loves having little activities to do. So like the count, what are they called? Now I can't even remember, but it gives you the hundreds charts, and then it gives you all the different colors and you color them in what it says, and then it forms a picture. So he loves those, and he hasn't ever done these ones. These are graphing ones. I grabbed the holiday one, but I have one that's also not holiday one. And so then it'll just give you in here the different colors and graphing. You might recognize these from elementary. I also loved these in elementary school. So I was gonna put one of these in his bottom drawer. If he finishes his work, then he can do this as just to keep him busy or as a reward, because he really loves these things. So it is a reward for him. So that's something else that is in his drawer. It's kind of a group thing. It's not exactly our strict curriculum, but just something else he can do. And the last thing is science. So this is from, now I can't even remember, and it's not written on the front exactly, but I'll have to put it down below. And oh, it's elemental science. I was like, what is it called? Elemental science. And I used her science book that was for, I think it was kindergarten age, and it just covered very basic things from all of the sciences. And I really liked that. It gave simple experiments to do, and it was a lot of fun. So we were trying biology. So this is biology for the grammar stage. And again, this is when you just buy online and you can download it. And she has student workbooks as well that you can download. She has lap books that you can buy and download. She even has packets of the experiment materials that are hard to find. And so you can pay and she'll send you the box or packet of those things that maybe aren't as easy to find, or maybe you just don't want like a whole bucket of whatever you're having to buy. So she'll just send you a little bit. I haven't ever actually used those ones, so I don't know how that works, but it looked really cool. I thought it was a good idea. So this one we're gonna do biology, and I really like this curriculum too because she plans, again, lesson plans. If you provide a lesson plan with your curriculum, I am like sold, because that's a lot less work for me to do. And so she gives a big list at the beginning of books that are pretty necessary, which aren't very many. It's mostly some sort of encyclopedias, so you just are familiar with what you're talking about. But then she'll give a list for each section of books, of if you wanted extra books. And some of them are a little bit more encyclopedia-ish, and some of them are more fun, like Magic School Bus type things. So I really like how it's very comprehensive. And one of the other things I love is, like I said, these lesson plans that are very specific. So she gives it either if you're doing science 2 days a week or if you're doing it 5 days a week. And then she lists, okay, well, if you're gonna do it 2 days a week, these are the things you could do. And she's given you all of this already in the whole lesson plan. And then if you wanna do it 5 days, she lists everything here on what you can do. So it's very easy to pull it out. Obviously there's a little bit of prep work, but she's done so much of the work for you, you don't really have to do a whole lot. So I'm excited to go over this year and to study a little bit more about biology. So that's what's in my second grader's workbox system, and also just a little bit of the extra stuff that we're gonna be doing with him. So if you have questions or wanna know a little bit more about materials, or if I forget to like link something, I'll try to remember everything, just let me know and I'll try to answer them as best I can, and we will see you next time.